Well, the football season just ended, and we're back again. I guess something's going on. I guess we're gonna find out. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Thanks for tuning in. This is Red Card Radio. We are a weekly look at the Premier League, but we're in the middle of the summer. So what are we doing here? We can't be looking at the Premier League if the Premier League doesn't start for another 2 months. So this is our
yeah, we can.
This is going to be our summer episodes. We're talking about the Euros. We're talking about fan comments. We're just going to talk about silly things over the next couple weeks before the domestic calendar starts to pick back up. But right now we've got some international tournaments going on. We had a fun comment from one of our listeners on Twitter that we're gonna deal with tonight. But as always, my name is James. I support Arsenal, though I'm not wearing an Arsenal kit today. I decided to take the night off. Next to me is Brad. That's at KSBradG on the Twitter. He's our resident Chelsea supporter and most obnoxious presenter on the podcast, at least for the time being. And then down below, that's at Whiteheart_Sean. He is our Tottenham Hotspur supporter. I would say something mean and cruel about Tottenham at this point, but I think it's best to leave it at it's Tottenham.
Yeah,
it's the most prestigious club in London.
I think,
but it's not because London's still blue.
It's the most prestigious club in Italy, I believe, as well.
Yes,
it is.
But before we get started, if you guys could hit that like button on this video, share it with a friend, subscribe. If you're on our podcast, subscribe to our podcast, share it with a friend, and rate it on whatever podcast listening platform you're listening on, and rate it 5 stars.
5 stars. 5 stars, or I'll find out where you live, and I will steal your Uber Eats.
We would prefer we would prefer 5 stars, but I mean, if you have honest feedback for us,
I will highly inconvenience you.
You can still give us the 5-star review, and we'll read all the comments, and we'll take your feedback honestly. But still give us the 5-star review.
I will strongly inconvenience people that don't give 5 stars.
All right. With that, with the shameless plug out of the way, we're going to get into it. So our last episode was 2 weeks ago. We talked about the Champions League final and the Europa League final, all that good stuff. We did have a few comments on YouTube from some of our listeners. Jimmy, our boy Jimmy, he agreed with Brad that Chelsea won the Champions League final and that they were dominant.
Yeah, they did.
They were dominant over the course of the match. I think my failure in asking the question in last episode about whether Chelsea won or City lost was rather that I should have asked, did Pep set City up for failure, instead of asking if City lost the match. Because clearly Chelsea were the better football team in terms of like football. And on the day they were the better team. But I think my point was I thought that Pep set them up for failure.
I still think the answer is no. I think Pep set him up the same way he normally sets them up, which is like we talked about, like robotic. Well, they still do the same things.
Yes,
right, but they missed he tried to catch Tuchel off guard, and he did, but it ended up backfiring by not starting Fernandinho or Rodri as a solid 6 and moving Gundogan back into that midfield role where that's not what he does, and we just ate him alive.
Exactly.
So yes,
you can see my question.
He overthought himself. Right, he overthought it, but Chelsea still won the game because we beat them in all 3 of their formations with 2 CDMs, with 1 CDM, and with 0 CDMs.
Well, you're talking about over the course of the 3 matches that you guys played.
Correct.
Which brings me to my next point, that Will, our boy on YouTube, also agreed that Chelsea have clearly been dominant over City over the last couple weeks, and his exact quote is 3 wins in a row is pretty demonstrative of Chelsea's dominance over City recently, and I don't think you can disagree with that per se, because it's.
I mean, you can, but you'd be wrong.
Yeah, it seems like a poor choice to take.
Yeah.
But that brings me to our Twitter comment, and this is what we are kind of this is kind of the meat and potatoes of today's episode. Paik on Twitter, he suggested to us that we should kind of round robin our teams, and each one of us should take a different team. So as an Arsenal supporter, I don't want to look at Arsenal's transfers and things like that, but I should look at one of your guys' teams and think, okay, this is what I think you guys need. This is who I think you guys should sell. These are the positions I think you should sell. So what we did is we kind of broke this up, and Brad is going to be looking at Arsenal. Sean is going to be looking at Chelsea, and I'm going to be looking at Tottenham. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the current squads and think what the deficiencies are in the squad currently, who is going to be sold, who we think is going to be sold, things like that, and then kind of talk about the positions or maybe specific players, if you guys have looked at some of them, of what you think the team needs for next season. And we're going to start with the reigning European champions, Chelsea, which means that's Sean. Sean, you get to dissect Thomas Tuchel's team and tell us what you think they need to do in the summer to make a Premier League championship run and retain the Champions League crown. Tell us what Chelsea can do, Sean.
All right. So the simple answer is they don't need to do a lot. I mean, they clearly just won the Champions League. Mm-hmm. So that's the simple answer. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I hear you. The little bit more complicated answer is I think it's time to put Azpilicueta out to pasture. Reece James has clearly supplanted him. So you can look at right backs. I'm not going to attempt his name, but the kid from Ajax is really good. If you guys would like, let me look him up. He's pretty good. He's 21. I don't know if he wants to sit behind someone, or if he wants to keep growing and then go to a bigger club and be a starter. So that would be a tougher one. Noasir Mazori. He's a Moroccan player. Good. He's solid. It's one of the best right backs in Europe. That would be a good one, but the problem there is he's probably, at least at the beginning, not starting over Reece James. Reece James is really good. Missouri's also pretty good, so that would be just a fight. So I don't know if you want to bring him in. I don't know what the cost would be to bring him in just to fight for a position, and I don't know if he would want to do that. If Tottenham had a transfer budget, that'd be a good one for us, though. But our transfer budget is zero. So that's someone I was thinking. Other than that, someone like an REA type, someone like on the decline, someone like Nathaniel Klein would be a good one. I was thinking about this earlier. Someone just to bring in, just to spell Reece James, that's not going to ruin it. And Azpilicueta is not going to ruin it, but it's about time to let him go retire in Spain. He gave you what, for 12, 13 years, something like that,
no,
Brad?
Like seven.
Yeah, you were on mute.
Well,
7. But okay, so I have a question. What formation do you have us playing? Because Tuchel's been a 3-4-3. Are you doing it as a 4-3-3?
Well, no, just in general, a right back or a right wing back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just looking for clarity.
Because Klein could play a wing back. I mean, Yedlin could play a wing back, but he's the type that's gonna. You don't want him.
No.
He's the type to overrun it because he's too fast and can't slow down.
If he said anything.
Yeah.
I like Yedlin, and Yedlin maybe 3 years ago, sure.
Yeah. No, but someone like Klein's actually perfect because Reece James is going to play, and then someone to spell him. Other than that, you could use center back depth. Rudiger, Silva's getting old, so maybe a young center back out there. You're probably going to have to cycle out. Jorginho's actually started out and had a really good Euro so far. He had a really good pass to set up a Italian goal. But in Conte's getting a little older, so probably get a center back depth. and I know you guys are lining up Haaland. I don't know where he fits in, other than Werner, which you just bought.
Over top.
I don't.
He plays ahead of Werner. That's where Haaland fits.
I guess
you could play them together.
You could. I think that would be the play.
Like I know you're lining him up, but
would you play like a 3-5-2? That in that situation?
We've kind of been playing that, or we've been doing a 3-4-1-2.
Yeah, 3-5 would work with
I mean, it's the same thing.
Havertz and Pulisic on either side. Yeah, that could work.
I would do. I mean, with Haaland coming in, Haaland and Werner, and I think they free up each other because Werner pushes the defense off of Haaland, and Haaland's just a goal merchant. Watching you just get your stress levels is amazing.
I'm thinking that was not.
That was and then having like Mount there, and then you can have Pulisic spell Werner, or have Pulisic start over Werner. Like that can be a switch out there. Havertz can spell Haaland. I think Hakimi.
I think Abraham would be your Haaland.
Abraham's gone. Sorry, Abraham's probably gone. No, but he's like Abraham's probably going to be sold. Giroud's probably going to be sold. So Havertz is going to be that coverage.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think you're right about Aspie, and I think you're right with Reece James sliding into right center back. But I think it's going to be Hakimi at right wing back. I think we still need somebody young and fast.
Do you think?
No, out of Inter. He's on Inter now. But I don't. I like you were right in your thought process. I think Conte. We're signing him to a new contract.
A young up and coming one. Like I don't know how old is Hakimi.
22.
I don't think you need that because Reece James is there. I think you're inviting a problem that you don't need.
But you can slide Reece James back to right center back. Like he played against Vardy. I think he did awesome there.
Is that where he's best at though, or is he best screaming up the wing?
Well, I mean, he's best at right back, not wing back, but right back. When he like Trent, right? He's very similar to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's a little bit better defensively, but he goes forward and he sets up crosses. Right. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, do you want him sitting on the back line, or do you want him?
How Tuchel has had our center backs playing though, like Aspie and Rudiger still get forward. They still make those runs. They still hit those crosses in. It's just on, who's setting up what between them, or one side's going forward, one side's going back. And Dave might stay another season, but I think Rudy's gone too. Which I don't know if Zuma's coverage there either. I would have loved to have Tomori back from AC Milan. That's who I wanted back for our center backs. But they're using their buyout clause. But I think you were spot on with the positions because that's like looking at the Chelsea roster. That's what I have as well.
And I think you could also come in with like Brozovic from Inter Milan, center defensive mid. I think you could try to snake out an Ndidi. You don't need to spend a lot to get your depth at center defensive mid, but Conte's he's getting older. Like he's not going to carry the same. I mean, it's probably. I say that as he was probably the most impactful player in the Champions League final.
Right, we keep saying that. Like, he's like 29, 30, right? So he's like getting at the age where like Chelsea's like, okay, it might be time to like find a replacement, but like, Omi has the biggest set of iron lungs I have ever seen on a player.
Yeah,
like he just goes.
Yeah, like you're talking about him like. He seems like a player who's got like five more good years, even at 29 or 30. Like I think he's gonna play into his mid-30s and have no problem doing that.
I tell you who they have the money and the balls to go try to get.
Who?
Marco Verratti.
Okay. That was thought of.
He would work well on your team. I thought about that too. They got the money and the balls to go get him.
But he's similar to Jorginho, though. He's not really an upgrade there. I don't see an upgrade there.
You don't see an upgrade over Jorginho to Verratti?
Not a huge upgrade. I see Verratti. Okay, sorry. But Kovacic is better. Kova plays that role better.
I don't know about that, my man. I think Verratti's. I think he's Kovacic, head and shoulder. Kovacic is fine. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Jorginho.
I mean,
over the season, like I said, Jorginho had a good first game for Italy. It clearly, I don't know if Verratti's injured, but clearly started ahead of him.
I don't know.
I don't know if Roddy's injured though.
What do you have any other like specific things you think that Chelsea needs, Sean?
No, that's it. It's really just center back depth because they're going to have to start cycling out some of those. Thiago Silva, I think he's probably like 34, 35.
36.
Yeah, 36. He's getting up there. Center back depth, right back, center defensive mid depth, and forwards to cycle out. Other than that, that's why I thought it would be a pretty quick one because there's not much I'd change.
Okay.
Pretty solid team.
No, thank you, sir. That means a lot coming from a Tottenham fan.
Brad, it's your...
Yeah, wait till we get to my section, buddy.
my spreadsheet is ready. But before,
my team's so bad, James made a spreadsheet. That's how bad.
But before we talk about Tottenham, let's talk about Arsenal. Brad, the floor is yours, Brad.
I have a sticky note. I didn't do specific players. I looked at more like positions and like the type of player, I guess. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I don't think Ceballos is coming back. So I think somebody to pair with Partey. Who can you have a Partey with? You're probably looking at like a Kovacic to a Conte, right? Because I think you went on record saying Partey was going to have a better season than Conte.
Okay, I did text that.
I just wanted to bring that up again. That you said Partey was going to be better than Conte, but you're looking for somebody to play that Kovacic Jorginho role and partnering with Conte for because you guys play a 4-2-3-1 typically, right?
4-3-3, yeah, kind of 4-2-3-1.
The same, yeah. Cool. I don't see why and then the center back is desperately needed with Gabriel, like a general. You need an older head that can bring Gabriel along and shore up that defense.
Interesting.
Not David Luiz.
Interesting.
Out of the world.
I'm going the entire opposite direction on Arsenal for center backs. I don't think we need center backs.
Well, so and here's I know we've talked about Odegaard. I think that's a luxury that you guys don't really need. You have Smith Rowe, you have Martinelli, you have Saka, you have Pep. I would much rather, if I'm Arsenal looking at the squad, right, I would much rather have a center back over a Cam. If I'm spending 40 mil on a Cam, I'd rather spend 40 mil on a center back.
Okay.
Shore up that defense.
He's not wrong. If you let's say for example, instead of to where do you go? Not Sporting, Porto? No. Wherever Vertonghen went.
Oh, okay.
If you got Vertonghen instead of David Luiz with Gabriel, don't you think your defense is entirely different?
If you didn't have David Luiz as a starting center back, I think your defense is completely different. I love David Luiz.
No, I'm just phrasing that in that way because Vertonghen is a clear leader in the back.
Luiz had a really good season.
I didn't think he was bad, but you add someone that's consistent and a leader.
Well, but we were really stout defensively this year. We weren't top of the table in terms of goals conceded, but we were in the top half of goals conceded. So I think it's interesting that you're focusing on defense.
Well, so that's the start, right? Center mid, I think, is your biggest weakness. Mm-hmm. You need somebody to partner with Partey, and then a center back to shore up the back.
Okay.
And then a striker.
Okay.
Laka and Abba are both in their 30s, mm-hmm. and they didn't really do a lot last year.
Okay.
So some sort of center forward. And I don't think Nikita is your answer.
Yeah, and Nketiah is not the play.
Yeah, and I don't think you think that either.
I don't think that Nketiah has another season with us personally, but apparently we offered him a contract extension. I just read this today. So I think it's interesting that you say center. So I agree wholeheartedly with the center midfielder. Okay, yeah. Go. Do you have one more point you want to make?
I still have a couple more.
Sorry, go for it.
You're good. Left back for coverage.
Yeah, agreed.
The way Tierney gets hurt, you need somebody that you can't be playing Saka or you can't be playing Xhaka because he's gone, right? I think as soon as Roma forks up enough cash, I'm pretty sure he's out. Yeah. And then I've been hearing this is more of what I've been hearing. A new goalkeeper, Leno wanting out. I don't think.
Certainly rumors.
Homie from Ajax, would be good if he didn't have Ajax.
You also said Ceballos earlier, which I took offense to.
Ceballos.
It's a Y, like Juventus.
It's close. You can't talk about Juventus. That team has no prestige to you. Get out
I
of here
didn't
with that
say
noise.
that. I
Yes,
said
you did.
Tottenham's on the
Hold
same
hold
level.
Let's not.
But okay,
let's
anyways,
let's not get on
no,
that
they're not.
tangent
But
again.
anyways, so a goalkeeper, because Matt Ryan's on loan, right? And he's 29, so I don't know why you want to use him as a homegrown. I get having a backup homegrown, but I don't see why that fits that role. And is Bellerin staying, or who's your right back? Was my last one.
It seems like Bellerin's probably going to go. The talk at the beginning of this most recent season was that he agreed to play one more season and that he would go after this season. And after watching him play the season, like, I love Hector Bellerin, like, but he hasn't been the same player since he came back from injury. And so yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you think Arsenal need a goalkeeper, a left back, a center back, a right back, a central midfielder, and a striker.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, so let me think about
a whole new squad.
Yeah, apparently. So interesting. So I agree with we clearly need to do something at goalkeeper. If Leno stays, great, but we still need a backup goalkeeper. So we might need 2 goalkeepers this summer if Leno goes. But I guess the good thing about Leno going is that he is high value. Like, he should get a lot of money, I think. And if he doesn't get a lot of money, then that's just classic Arsenal failing at being transfer market, because I saw an interesting stat, or like a headline that said since like 2012 or something like that, we've made over 250 million pounds in signing, and we've only sold 2 players for a profit. Something along those lines.
I think I sent that to you. I think it was a screenshot.
You didn't
of a tweet.
I mean, I independently saw it on Reddit.
I saw the same thing too.
You may have also sent it to me.
Yeah.
But
and you guys have what, 10 defenders in 5 years.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's talk about. I agree with you. Left back, Tierney needs backup. Kolasinac is not the play. Kolasinac needs to go. And we do.
Who's going to defend Mesut Ozil?
Well, Mesut Ozil's in Turkey, so. So
Y'all remember that video?
Oh yeah, I remember it.
That was great.
I was thinking about how I could try and make a joke about it, but then I failed, so I just moved on. And then you made the joke, so I'm happy you did. We clearly need depth at left back. Saka is okay coverage, in the case of major emergency, but yeah, we do need like dedicated left back. Depth.
He's so much better going forward, though.
Exactly.
He's like your most important player going forward. Like you.
Exactly. It's
no.
Yeah, it works in a pinch, but we shouldn't want to pinch. Right back, we certainly need another right back. Okay, but let's talk about center back. So we have Gabriel, we have Pablo Mari, we have Rob Holding. We're getting Saliba back from loan. Saliba had an incredible 6 months at Nice. Like, when I talk about incredible, like insanely good 6 months at Nice. And you guys are gonna say, oh, it's the French league, oh, it's Farmers League, whatever. But like, he played insanely well. So he's super young. So I don't necessarily disagree with the idea that we could use a veteran center back, but I don't think it's strictly necessary, because we have 4, in my opinion, really solid center backs. Do we have a Virgil van Dijk? No. But we don't have a Harry Maguire. You know what I mean? I think that we have 4 really...
You do. His name's David Luiz.
No, David Luiz is gone, bro. He's released.
Oh, okay.
What about a Ben White? I think a Ben White would be phenomenal.
But is he so my question is
Nathan Ake?
No, God, no, please no.
Or Mings. Mings would be another really good one.
But are they better? Like, are these players better footballers? Better? I don't know if they are.
Yes.
I don't know if they are. I don't know. Maybe this is me being a homer, but I don't know if they are. I think that we're okay if we don't sign a center back this summer, I'm not mad.
The only reason I agreed with the general in the back is because we this is on record on tape. Check the tape. Of me and you guys, I think, agreeing that Gabriel is not much different, and they're really similar in age. I think Gabriel is 23, Davinson Sanchez is 25, I believe. They're really close in age, and they are the same way, where you can tell they are just naturally gifted but they make bonehead mistakes sometimes. And you're like, what are you doing? And I'm not talking about Eric Dyer, Granit Xhaka mistakes, which is really funny, by the way. When Davinson Sanchez and Dyer play in center backs, it's the same as Gabriel and Eric Dyer. Or Gabriel and Granit Xhaka at center back. It's just like I got mad again thinking about the penalty that Dyer gave up when he was on the ground and karate kicked a calf of an Arsenal player for no reason. Like, what are you doing? You're like 29 years old. You should know better by now. But anyway, that's Granit Xhaka.
He's 27.
He's 27. All right, sorry. Whatever. You should still know better by now.
Agreed.
Like, don't make boneheaded mistakes like that. Agreed. You're too old to be doing that. But like Sanchez could benefit from having a Van Dijk, a Vertonghen, John Terry someone like to bark orders at him and get him in line.
A Cahill.
Cahill's a good one. That's a really good one.
And he's free.
He cannot run.
Cahill's a little too old.
He couldn't run when he first came in.
Now, but like Cahill when he came to Chelsea, yeah, that's a good one.
All right. The one veteran center back that I'm willing Arsenal to sign is Giorgio Chiellini. That's the one. That's the only one I'm accepting.
Here we go.
I say that because I rate Chiellini, not because of the meme, because I rate him.
Just give.
But we're doing it for the memes
Bonucci.
too.
Just give Bonucci.
I mean, I would take Bonucci as well. Bonucci's a beast. I agree with you. We need center midfielder.
Also, speaking of Chiellini, he's been 39 for 40 years now, I believe.
He's running it back again next year.
He's Benjamin Button. Like, why has he looked this old for this long? I don't understand.
Max Allegri convinced him to run it back. So, but all right, back to the point. I agree with you. We need center midfielder. I don't disagree with you on we need a center forward point. But if we get a center forward, we need to. If we get a center forward, like a veteran center forward, we need to sell one of Oba or Lacazette. We can't go into the season with Lacazette, Oba, and another third veteran center forward. Though Oba has been most productive coming from the wing, coming from wide. He scored the most goals not playing centrally this season. So I think that was kind of a mistake trying to play him centrally. He plays best out on the left, but the problem is there might be other players who play better on the left. Or
Martinelli and Saka.
Interestingly, Saka's been playing on
the right.
Yeah, well, Saka's on the right. He can play either. So Pepe's been kind of playing on the left some, but Martinelli on the left would be, I think, provides a little bit of a different aspect than Oba brings. So I don't disagree. I mean, like I like Oba, but I don't have any like strict attachment to him as a player. So if he goes, he goes. It's not gonna no skin off my back. I mean, I like the player, but if if we make some money off of it, I'm okay with it. But yeah, I don't think Arsenal need that much. As long as if we don't lose Bernd Leno, then I don't think we need that much. I think we need a few pieces. And especially you have to remember that our squad needs to be leaner next year because we don't have European football. So we can't support as big a squad next season as Chelsea or Tottenham will be able to support because we'll have significantly less games.
Right.
So we need to have a trimmer squad than everyone else.
And who's going to play right back? So if we're being real and you're trying to trim down, center mid, I still say a CB or a striker. Right, you might be able to get away with one more year with Laka and Abba. Defend left back for coverage and or starting right back.
So right back is interesting because we have Cedric Soares and we have Chambers. I kept wanting to say Carl Jenkinson. Shout out to Carl Jenkinson. But we have Chambers. Chambers actually has been. Callum Chambers was playing above Soares as the backup to Bellerin, and he even played above Bellerin and looked much better than Bellerin. So is Callum Chambers a win the Champions League right back? I don't think so. But is Callum Chambers a make a legitimate shot at the top 4 right back? Probably.
So
I think I could be okay. I could be okay rocking with Callum Chambers and Cedric Soares going into the season. I could be okay. I don't know if we will do that or not, but it might work.
So what you're saying is you're okay with top 6 next year?
No, I'm okay with top 4. Arsenal's goal has to be attacking the top 4.
But you said
I said top 4.
He's maybe a top 4. But you said maybe a top 4 center back, right back.
But the thing is, you don't. In my estimation, not every single one of your players has to be like the best.
Sure.
You know, you don't have to have all. Like, not all of your positions are going to be at least the 4th best player in that position in the league. You know what I'm saying? To be
sure.
Like clearly that
and
makes
you guys
it
also,
better, but like that's not.
And
really
you guys
how
also
football
push.
works.
And you guys also push more on the left than you do on the right.
Yeah.
So Callum Chambers does make sense of that because then it becomes 3 at the back.
Yeah.
Typically when Tierney goes forward.
Yeah. So
I can see that.
So
we can take right back away.
Well, I'm not saying if we sign a good one, we could, but.
All right, bring it on, James. What do you got?
Let's hear this Tottenham. I'm ready.
So I'm gonna kind of preface this a little bit. When we talked about doing this, and I got Tottenham, I was like, because like 3 or 4 weeks ago, Shaw was talking about how he thought they needed to sell 9 of their first team of their starting 11. I was like, okay, well, clearly I'm getting a scalpel out and I'm tearing this team apart. But when I looked at the team, it doesn't like. How many players am I selling? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's about right.
I'm selling 9, but some of them are clearly not
like Lamella.
Yeah, I'm clearly selling Lamella because he's a joke.
Ooh.
And I
told you.
I'm also letting both of your loanies expire. But let me start. Yeah, so I thought it was going to be more bloodier than I think it actually turned out to be. In my opinion, like Brad, I don't have any specific players to recommend to Tottenham because I feel like if I'm telling Daniel Levy who to sell and also who to buy, he should put me on the payroll. So I'm not offering up specific players, but I am offering up positions and things like that. So this goalkeeper, Hugo Lloris and Joe Hart, cutting them both, selling both of them.
What?
Yep.
Yes.
You got to cash in.
Yes.
Hugo,
well, you're not getting anything for Joe, but continue.
Yeah, Joe Hart as a backup. I mean, I guess if you want to keep him as a backup, that's fine. But I'm selling him.
Lloris had his best year in like 3.
Yeah. Okay.
You said you would sell him.
I think
we need to replace him.
I think Hugo Lloris is on the decline, and I think he's been on the decline for a couple years now.
He just had a good year last year.
I think.
Didn't you?
Go for it.
Continue.
No, go for it, bro.
Sean, didn't you at the beginning, like, wasn't your tagline, I'm a Hugo apologist? That was your tagline at the beginning of this podcast.
I think it was.
I remember that multiple times, saying, I'm a Hugo apologist, he's the man. But the fact that you have to be an apologist for him says that James is right.
It's no surprise that Paratici, one of the first things he's trying to do is bring Donnarumma from...
He's not.
It's not coming. He's not coming. But
PSG,
he's trying.
He's already signed PSG.
Oh, okay.
They're doing medicals this week.
Yeah. Well, Keylor Navas, let's go.
I mean,
Navas is staying too.
Keylor Navas is a beast, so I would take
Let's get him.
He's staying. Apparently, there was talk of Donnarumma going.
We've only got the one position out of 9, so let's let him. We got to clear the way for James.
Sean, there's 11 positions on a football team, so if I took one away, that's 10.
Well, that's 9 players you were selling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true. And 2 of them. So I'm letting you keep Alfie Whiteman. Do you know about this Alfie Whiteman guy?
No, I do not.
He's your 22-year-old keeper. Just so you know, I'm letting you guys keep him.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Right back. I'm keeping Doherty. I'm selling Serge. So you're down to one right back. Center back. I'm keeping Tanganga, Rondon, and Sanchez. Selling Toby.
Yeah,
I'm selling Toby because he's old, and I think that his race is run. I think that you guys could upgrade and get like a 27, 28-year-old experienced center back. And I think that would be an upgrade over Toby. Left back, I am keeping Reguilon, selling Davies.
Wow. I mean, age-wise, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's an age thing. That's wholly an age thing. All right, midfield. Selling.
Go ahead, chop it up.
All right, Lamela, Dyer, Winks, Sissoko. Selling all of them. So Lamela is obvious, in my opinion. Lamela is not.
Winks is the only one I disagree with.
Lamela is not good enough to be a top 6 on a top 6 team, in my opinion. Eric Dyer is not good enough to be on a top 6 team, in my opinion. Eric Dyer would have been great on Fulham this year. Eric Dyer would have been great on Crystal Palace this year.
Yeah.
He is not.
Paired with Cahill?
Yeah, he is not good enough to play for Tottenham Hotspurs. And I have a very low opinion of Tottenham Hotspurs. Harry Winks.
Winks is the only one I disagree with.
So I have a question, though.
What role does he fill for your team?
He's the engine. He's the work rate. It's an energy thing.
Okay, but
if you can
Højbjerg.
Yeah. I mean, you put it that way, but them together is fun because neither one of them stop moving. But you're right. No, Højbjerg fills that spot.
Yeah. So I'm taking Højbjerg over
better.
Winks. Exactly. So,
and if you can get 30 mil for Winks, then I think you sell him, and then Oliver Skip comes in, depending on how he recovers.
I mean,
I don't know if you know this, but Oliver Skip won a trophy this year.
I'm well aware of that.
I don't know if Winks gets 30 million. I don't know if he does.
I don't think he does.
Maybe with the English tax to an English team. Maybe. But
English tax.
Transfer market value has him at 22 million. So take that for what it is.
I'd take him at the 20.
I'm also selling Sissoko because he's getting old.
He wants to go to Italy.
You alluded to this. It sounds like he wants to get out anyway. So
yeah, I think we're close to a deal with Napoli. I think he just wants to go to Italy.
Yeah. So in terms of your forwards, you had this season. You had Mora, Kane, Son, Bergwijn, Vinicius, and Bale. I'm letting both the Vinicius and Bale loans expire. I'm not actively looking to bring them back personally, and honestly, I'm running it back with your four attackers. I think that they're all good enough. Clearly,
you're not adding it back. You're not adding to it.
Well, no, I think you could add to it.
Yeah,
I think you need to add to it for depth, but I don't think that Vinicius and Bale are the play. Vinicius maybe, but I think 26 is maybe pushing it a little old.
It's too old. It's too old to be developing.
Yeah, and exactly.
That's the way I'll phrase it.
Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it. But so I say this with this is what I would do, but I don't know if you guys will be able to keep Harry Kane. And I also, so the one that I actually waffled on whether or not I was keeping or selling was Lucas Moura, because he is the least shiny of all of your attacking players. Like he's a
spark plug though.
Exactly. So like every time I watch you guys, I watch him and I'm like, okay, this dude's a bum. Like he's not that good. Like you guys should move on from him. But then I watch him and I'm like, okay, he changes the way you guys play. He's dynamic. Yes. And you guys play differently when he comes onto the pitch. And so I think for that purpose, I'm giving him at least another season. He's 28. I think that he's like, so this is kind of a problem I think you guys are running into. Moore is 28, Kane's 27, Son is 28. Like that's kind of old for all. I mean, it's not super old. It's not super
Son will be
old.
29 by the time the season starts.
Okay.
And the Melo's 29? I didn't know the Melo was that old. Yeah. I thought he was like 24, 25.
No, but
no, we got Lamela. Lamela is the only one left from the Bale money.
Yeah.
So, Erickson was the other one. Then he moved on. But we got, it was like Soldado, Macer Chadley.
Yeah.
Andrew
Chadley. I forgot about Chadley.
Soldado was a miss.
All right.
But yeah. So Lamela's the only one left, but we bought him when he was like 21, 22.
So let me go through this. Let me go through this from position. You need 2 goalkeepers, in my opinion. You need one right back. I think you need 2 center backs. I think you need a first choice. I think it actually kind of seems like to me that you need at least one like first choice that's going to like push for a first team position, and then maybe kind of another young guy. But I think you need 2 center backs. I think you need 1 left back. You need center defensive midfielders, in my opinion. Like, I think you desperately need at least 1 good center defensive midfielder, possibly 2. Center midfielder, I think you need 1 for depth, and I think that this could potentially be an academy player. I think you could promote an academy player here and have kind of a youngster fill that role. I would say if you had someone like a Joe Willock in your academy, that's a perfect role for someone like a Joe Willock. You cannot have Joe Willock, but you need a player like Joe Willock, in my opinion. I think you have 1 central attacking midfielder in Dele Alli. I'm keeping Dele Alli personally because he's a good player, and I think now that Mourinho's gone, he'll get more playing time. But I think you also need 1 more for depth and injury. And then you need a right forward or like a right winger, right-footed on the right, and then you need another center forward for depth. But you guys have needed a second center forward for like 3 years, and Daniel Levy doesn't sign it. And I say all this. Hold on, I got one last point to make about Tottenham. I say all this, but what you guys really need is a manager, a first team coach.
Yes.
The fact that Tottenham Hotspurs, at least one of the top 15 most prestigious clubs
that's right.
in Europe, allegedly doesn't have a manager at this point is mind-boggling to me. And I understand that Tottenham are getting ready really, really close to signing Fonseca. I understand that. You need a manager. You desperately need a first team coach. It's been too long. You guys have got turned down left, right, and center. Sign a man. Get somebody.
The rumored salary is the difference between Tottenham and Conte. Levy's here for the memes.
It's insane to
It's
me.
amazing. Like, what is going on? Like, how do you?
Fonseca's coming. Don't worry.
Look, okay, but how are you feeling about this? Knowing that like Conte was in talks for like 48 hours. It was like Conte's the new manager. I don't understand. Like, and maybe it's because I'm a Chelsea fan and we have Big Daddy Roman who just like forks out money left and right. But like, you have a manager like Conte's like, hey, yeah, I'm interested in your project. This is what I need to get the project done. These are the supplies I need. Like, I need my board, I need my markers, I need my glue, I need my scissors. And y'all like, well, you can have glue and scissors. Like, what? I don't understand that.
Welcome to being a Tottenham fan. That's what it is.
But in his interview, he's like, yeah, we want to win trophies. No, you don't. You want top 4, and you just want to keep on banking in that revenue. I mean, I get being $1 billion in debt and having, like, the stadium launch as COVID's happening, but now he's getting NFL's coming back. That's a big contract.
That fight.
Usyk and Joshua are fighting. That's going to be a good amount of revenue. I think it's going to be bigger than you think it is, James. Boxing is pretty big internationally, and Joshua is
huge in England.
And Joshua is an English fighter.
Okay, but
so like
my point on this is, what money does Tottenham stand to make?
Everything that comes from the stadium,
it's
and
their stadium.
Levy said this in the interview. Any revenue that comes from the stadium goes back into the club. So whether that's true or not, or whether it's an interesting accounting thing that they do, I don't know. But
okay, but that's revenue generated from the stadium. So when we talk about there's like I'm going to refer to that as like the gate, and then like concessions. That's all, like, in merchandise is going to go directly to the boxers because it's
no, not all of it.
Like Tottenham might get a tiny cut.
They'll get a bigger cut than you think.
I think it's a tiny cut. And they're gonna get tickets.
I think it's half and half.
They're gonna get gate, and they're gonna get concessions, which is not going to amount to that much. Like, I think you're talking less than 10 million for that fight, and I think it's significantly less than 10 million that Tottenham stands.
I think you're crazy.
Oh,
I think you're crazy.
I think Brad's wrong here. I was hopeful in my head. I think it's like 15
to 20 mil. I think it's double that.
No, I think from gate and concessions, our cut of the gate, because you're not going to get all the gate. You don't get all the gate. Cut of the gate plus concessions, all Tottenham.
Probably.
Okay, so How much do you make from
Probably
from a
2 or
Tottenham
3
soccer
mil.
game though? You make more than that in gate and
That's
a Tottenham
because
Hotspur's game.
No,
the
not that
whole
much.
gate's them.
Brad,
The whole gate's them, though.
You're overstating how much the match day revenue is. You're overthinking
Yeah.
it. It's not as much as you think.
Yeah, you don't make money from the gate. You make money from the TV revenue.
I'm pretty sure that you make like $1 million a game from match day revenue.
And that's big clubs.
Yeah, like that's like I think
So Tottenham's not a big club?
That's Tottenham Juventus status.
so
Like big clubs.
I think that Arsenal's like match day revenue is like $1 million per home game,
Right,
or something like that.
but that's when you're charging 65, 70 pounds a pop, right? Like I don't think ticket price unless I know Chelsea's ticket prices haven't gone up since the last time we won Champions League. I don't know Tottenham's thing there, but boxing tickets are a lot more expensive. You're talking like 5 figures, 4 figures for on the field seats, for front row seats.
That's fine.
So I think you're undervaluing this gate. I think you're undervaluing the money that's coming from this.
I think you're way over.
Because
Anyway,
if you don't, because I think they're still
think
getting. I think they're getting a cut of everything that's happening on this fight.
Any event.
But he's getting these events. He's getting concerts. He's getting shows now. The stadium's open. It's a lot freer, kind of. England might go into another lockdown. Who knows? But I think you're undervaluing. But like I get debt hurts, but like you can't be like, yeah, we're gonna do financially sound things and we want to win. Like that's kind of doesn't compute.
They're counterintuitive, and
Right.
We've been doing it. We've been doing it for 7 years.
I think Arsenal are a good example of this. When Arsenal moved into the Emirates, there was like 8 years where we just weren't competitive. Like that. Well, I shouldn't even say that.
We were top 4, but like,
Yeah,
and you might jump up to second, but you weren't winning. You weren't going to win the league.
There were like 2 seasons where we were like one March injury away from winning the league. Like when Eduardo got his leg snapped, and when Ramsey got injured. Those were 2 seasons we could have won the league. So and then the Leicester season, we should have won the league as well. So yeah, like there were a couple seasons, but like we weren't like competing in the Champions League and things like that. But like you can make league runs. But honestly, football was still different 10 years ago than it was today. You know what I mean? Like Manchester City wasn't what they were 10 years ago, what they are today. Liverpool weren't what they were 10 years ago, what they are today. Chelsea was still big. United were, of course, bigger than they are today in terms of like their footballing prowess. But like I just think it's even more difficult to be financially frugal and be aggressive in terms of results.
Well, and you guys also in the transfer market have been absolutely terrible. Like you said yourself, like only 2 players make a profit in 6 years. That's mind-boggling. And Tottenham, we've all talked about being like the net spend captains.
We need to get back on track here a second because Sean, you haven't responded necessarily to what I think your needs are.
I'll just keep it brief because we kind of went long there. But we the only thing I disagree with was what was it? It was Harry Winks and letting Gareth Bale just walk. I think Gareth Bale was coming on strong at the end of the season, and I think he's either getting back into shape or feeling more at home. One of the two. But he was coming on. I think he finished in the top 10 in goals, if I'm not mistaken.
For the league?
For the league. I almost it was either top 10 or top 15. So he had a really strong finish.
I mean, it's possible. If he's 31 years old, like, he's
still got it.
Okay. All right.
That's just run it back one more.
Okay.
If Madrid will allow. But I feel like he was just feeling at home again. He's smiling more. He looked like he was having a good time.
He used y'all to get ready for Euros.
Sure. I mean, if that's what he did, I mean, he's
like,
yeah, I'm good with it. Like, it was a good season. I think he scored 8 or 9, 10, something like that. Might have been double digits.
I mean, the thing is, is he gonna break into the Madrid side? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So that's why I say keep him, because I don't think he's gonna play there. But anyways, all right.
Let's talk about the Euros for a little bit. So there were football matches that were played.
It happened.
But the biggest storyline from the Euros from this week was the Christian Eriksen incident. In the 43rd minute of the Denmark-Finland game, Christian Eriksen suffered what appears to be a heart attack in the middle of the game, and collapsed on the pitch and required CPR and a defibrillation on the pitch. And apparently, after one pulse of the defibrillator, he regained rhythm in his heart, and he came back at that point. But Christian Eriksen almost died playing football. And in 2012, my brother reminded me of this. A player died playing in the second division of Italian football in the middle of a match. I think he suffered a heart attack as well. And then the situation I always think about is the Fabrice Muamba situation. In I think it was like the League Cup, perhaps, in England. They were playing at Spurs, and he suffered a heart attack on the pitch. Luckily, he survived because there was a cardiologist in the stadium, and they were doing CPR on him for like 70 minutes or something like that before they got him to the hospital. But so there were at least in my recent memory 2 major cardiac related incidents in the middle of a football match that have led to significant upgrades in the equipment that are kept at a football pitch. And so a defibrillator was available and was able to be used to resuscitate Christian Eriksen. And so it's incredible that he's okay. It's incredible that a 29-year-old footballer had a heart attack in the middle of a football match. But that's kind of the situation. I'm going to let Sean, because clearly Christian Eriksen was a Tottenham player. I know you have very fond memories of him, and he's one of your was one of your more favorite players for Tottenham. What were you thinking when you were, because you were watching this live? Tell me what was going through your mind.
Yeah, so I was watching it. I watched live. My first thought was when they started to surround him and protect him. I thought this is bad. And then through their legs, you could see clearly they were doing CPR. So I won't recount that because if you haven't seen it, don't. It's not going to make you feel any better. If you haven't seen him collapse, don't. It's not going to make you feel any better. Like, going back and watching this again is not going to help you at all. So, no contacts, no ball at his feet, just falls over. That's all you need to know. And I just, it was a moment of panic, of clearly something's wrong. You know, when you're watching a live event and clearly you know something's wrong. But you could, I was reading a lot on Twitter about apparently Simon Kjær was the first player to him and rolled him on his side and pulled his tongue out. So thankfully he knows enough that something was that wrong that he needed to get his tongue out of his airway.
I'm pretty sure he also started CPR as well.
I watched. I didn't take my own advice and I watched it again. He did not. Oh. The medics were there, and he was, when the medics got there, he was on his side.
Okay.
And then they were able to start CPR, and I was texting back and forth with a Man United friend that I have, who was also watching the game, and he said that he cut the TV off when he saw them stop doing CPR, because as a paramedic, that means that's the code. This is useless, gone. Like, we're wasting our time. So he cut the TV off and left because he was feeling like that. And he was like, I just watched a great player die. And luckily, like you said, there was a defibrillator, because apparently the defibrillator is what brought him back. But you know, live, I don't know that.
Yeah.
When they brought his wife out of the stands, that's when I knew. I was like, he's dead. I watched Christian Eriksen die. I watched him play for 8 years for Tottenham. He's one of my favorite players, and he just collapsed on the field, and I just watched him die. And then holding the sheets up, wheeling him off, that was tough, because I I thought they were shielding it from a dead body. So, but I mean, probably 30, 40 minutes later, the images started leaking out, in between the sheets of him with his eyes open and his hand on his head. So that was encouraging. And then we got the reports from UEFA and Denmark official that he was alive, and then reports that he FaceTimed the team and was, he was cognizant. He knew what happened, which is good, which means he didn't have brain damage. He wasn't dead that long, that he didn't have enough, it his head up or something like that. So, yeah, but it was a rough 45 minutes, honestly.
Yeah.
I was on the verge of tears for probably 45 minutes.
This is a good reminder for anyone who's listening that even bad CPR is better than no CPR. And that CPR can definitely save someone's life in a situation like that. Yeah, I was out with my son, and I wasn't watching the game, and you guys started texting, and I was instantly very upset over this. And I don't have any special connection to Christian Eriksen. Honestly, it's probably more animosity from a footballing perspective, because he played for Tottenham and he was a good player for Tottenham. And I was certainly happy to see him leave to go to Inter a year and a half ago or whatever it was. And so, but seeing that happen to him, definitely, I got very upset over it, and I was very relieved to see that he survived. And I think all of my my messages to you guys when we were texting about this was just a situation like this. A player cannot die on a football pitch in 2021. Like there has to be ambulances and defibrillators and doctors and people there that can at least get someone to a hospital. And so I was very relieved to see that they did have the equipment in place and that they did use it properly, and that he survived. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, Brad, that you want to add.
No, I was the same way. I agree with you. Animosity towards Erickson, because he always, when he came on for Tottenham, he was always dangerous. Again, very happy to see him leave. But I was tore up about this too. I was kind of freaking out, watching it happen. As I came back in, the amount of stress that I felt from this was crazy. And it's how is this still possible? Do you know most English clubs actually don't have a defibrillator? They have to actually pay £800 to the FA to get one. So I saw this on Twitter that the fine that the 3 clubs from the Prem, the 6 clubs from the Prem are paying would be enough to cover every single team's defibrillators, and that's what they should use it for. I don't disagree.
In all of the divisions of English football.
Yep.
And why not?
Well, yeah, that would be a perfect use of the fine of the 22 million. I think that's phenomenal thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I was definitely tore up, and it was crazy because the game before, I'm sitting there watching it with one of my really good friends and his 2 little girls, and I think I said this to you guys earlier. I was so glad that they had left to go home before that happened, trying to explain something like that to them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
A 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. I know that Jimmy, who's one of our YouTube watchers, I was talking with him, and he was saying that he was watching it with his kids, and he had to turn the TV off and send his kids out of the room because of what he was watching.
Yeah.
Well, that was the other thing I meant to mention was watching it. My other thought was, why are they not throwing it back to the studio?
Yeah.
Why do they keep zooming in?
Yeah.
Trying to see, yeah.
And then the close up on his wife and all this stuff. What? Throw it to the studio.
Yeah.
I'm not a TV producer. I know this is raw emotion, but it's a dude dead and brought back to life. Man, get back to the studio.
Yeah.
And get out of here.
Even if you're
it may not have been.
Even if your main studio guy isn't ready, maybe he's in the bathroom or something like that. There's got to be someone who you can sit behind the desk. Tim Howard
something.
Or Del Piero or someone
trying to get
that can be
somebody back there.
Yeah, come on, there's somebody.
Yeah. Or keep it in the crowd. Or if you wanted to show crowd reactions, great. I don't need to see his wife. I don't need to see what's happening. Like we all understand. As soon as the team circled around him, we all understood what was happening.
Yeah.
We don't need to see that. Yes, I think that was a huge fail on ESPN's part.
Well, and that's not necessarily all of ESPN, because that happened to other broadcasters as well.
Right. That was the issue with the feed.
BBC. Yeah. So like there's a feed issue there, but
two great moments in sportsmanship. One, I don't know if you guys noticed, maybe from the picture if you've seen it, but Finland supporters gave up their flag to be one of the sheets to hide Christian Eriksen.
Yep. I saw that.
So the Finland flag was helping shield him. And then when they resumed play, the Finland supporters chanting Christian, and then the Denmark supporters chanting Erickson back, and then they were going back and forth. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Once they knew he was alive.
I think one person or one entity that needs to be castigated for this, what happened, is UEFA. I think UEFA made a horrible mistake in going to the players and saying, you guys have two options. You can either play the game right now or you can play it tomorrow before noon. And leaving it up to the players. Because what we heard, what was the public line coming back when they resumed the game about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes later, was that, the players made a decision, they heard from Christian Eriksen, and they all as a group decided that it was okay to keep playing. We've now come to hear that that's probably not entirely accurate, and that UEFA gave the teams two options. Either they could resume the game when was earliest, like whenever was feasible, which is ultimately what they did, or they could resume it the next morning and play, like have it finished before noon local time. I understand that this is a football tournament, that stadiums are booked in advance, and that there are logistical issues going on here, but someone almost died. Player in your tournament, a star player in your tournament, a player that is on your promo video leading into your tournament, almost died.
Yeah.
Almost died. And you're going to his teammates and saying, these are your two options. Denmark lost the game. It was 0-0 going into halftime, and Finland beat them 1-0 after this. I don't think that Denmark was mentally prepared to play a football match. They almost saw one of their friends, one of their compatriots, somebody that they've known for years and years and years, almost die playing a football match. And then they're expected to go back out there and perform at the highest level.
I think it was Tim Howard brought this point up. Højbjerg missed that penalty kick. You know who would be taking it if he was still there?
Christian Eriksen.
It would have been Christian Eriksen. So do you think Højbjerg's taking that penalty like with a focused mind? No, absolutely not, because he knows he would not be on the spot if Erickson was there. Kasper
Schmeichel made a pretty terrible goalkeeping error to allow Finland to score. Kasper Schmeichel has been really, really good all season.
He doesn't make those errors.
I can't think of many errors that he's had this year, and he has a howler in this match after the restart. So I don't know. I think this was a horrible decision by UEFA. It brings me back to my point that I had about UEFA during the ESL stuff, is that UEFA's not the good guys. They are solely in it for the money. That's all they care about. And I don't
even think Finland wanted to win that.
It's hard.
Like you could tell.
It's hard.
You could tell.
Like nobody was really playing.
Like it's hard to go back in there if you're Finland. Going full blast. Like, how do you go back in there and like play as hard as you were before, and like go into 50-50 tackles and go for like balls in the air, and like you score a goal and like you feel bad about it, like you don't celebrate, like you're just like it was a terrible situation. I'm not happy with UEFA over it.
The only way I disagree is I think they should have left it to the players without the ultimatum.
Yeah. It should have been, what do you want to do? And I don't know should have been. What do you want to do? I don't know should have been a reasonable response.
Yes.
I think if the players decided we should just leave it a draw, then just leave it a draw and give them, what do they get, like 5 days in between games? Give them the 5 days to figure it out.
Yeah,
if they said, if both teams were like, I'll take a draw.
I don't know if they would have been able to do that from like a sporting integrity standpoint, because it would have been unfair to the other teams in the group.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
But I think saying I don't know and not making the decision right there is an okay thing. You can figure out the logistics of playing, like moving the games around a little bit. That's okay. So,
all right.
Is there any other of these games that you guys want to talk about? I know we spent a lot of time on this Denmark-Finland game, but
the Netherlands-Ukraine was really
crazy.
fun.
Oh my gosh, it was such a great game.
It was such a fun game to watch.
Yes. I'm mad I didn't get to watch all of it because I had to.
You know, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up is I have another friend that's a really strong Everton supporter, and he has said for the past few summers they have almost signed Yarmolenko, and then just haven't. And he said he loves Yarmolenko, and wish they would have done it because of what he did. And I don't care what you say, Brad. The goal today. What was it from
from the halfway line?
No, that's not as good as Yarmolenko's. Left foot cutting across 35, top right corner, bending it in. There's nothing the keeper could do.
Yeah,
that was a sweet goal.
It was described best. It was described best by one of the people that were breaking down the highlights. That is a sympathy dive from the keeper, is what he said.
Yeah,
because he's like, the keeper knows he's not getting that.
Yeah,
it is a dive just to make it look good.
Yeah,
because he knows he's not getting that.
How about
the distance and that bend just inside the post? I don't know. You can make an argument for either one. I'm not saying it was a bad goal. I'm not saying you can make an argument for either one.
I'm just with James on this. The good part about the goal from the midway line is the awareness to look up and see where the goalie is.
Exactly.
That wherewithal. But other than that,
and to hit it as well.
That's hard.
Yes, it's not easy, and I'm not saying
you're
it's not
running.
easy.
You have a world defender on you. You're looking up to see where the goalie is, and you hit it into the net. That's hard. I'm not saying the other goal isn't just as hard, because like tighter confines, right? Perfect shot into the upper 90. This one was a perfect shot in the upper 92.
Yes,
from a lot further away.
I'm doing this as a but though. Like if I'm rating football goals, a goal where you have to pass it around and make a goal is better to me than a goal where the goalkeeper is just too far off his line, in my opinion.
Right. If the goalie's in the box and the goalie is more on his line, then sure, 100%.
That's my opinion. I think it's just a better goal. What about that Spain Sweden game? I
did not get to watch it, so I want to hear what you have to say.
So, if you look at like the stat line, it was like 85% percentage, like possession percentage to Spain, and the Sweden goalkeeper had like 4 or 5 incredible saves. Like Sweden got ran all over, like got absolutely destroyed, but Spain couldn't find a goal, and I think this is going to be a problem for Spain down the line. Is that they're going to have a hard time finding goals.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Morata is not not the play.
But I'd almost rather Traore.
That's all I got.
Yeah, it's
all right.
Wow.
I need predictions in the Euros. Brad, who's going to win the Euros?
Sheet of integrity.
Yeah, put it down. Brad, who's going to win the Euros?
Paper of trust and respect.
No, that's such a stupid.
PTR. We're gonna call it the PTR. Paper of trust and respect.
Okay, Brad. What do you got?
Brad, who you got? Who you got winning?
Belgium.
Okay, Belgium. Sean, who you taking?
I want to go last.
Okay, I'm taking Italy.
Ooh, Italy. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like how we're not going with the favorites here. Nobody's taking France. Are you taking France?
I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm in between two. And pick right or left hand.
Left.
Portugal.
Wow. So none of us are saying France. Can we talk about this real quick?
No, we can't because we're.
Do you want to know what was behind door 2?
England.
France.
England.
England?
England.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. No, Brad, we can't talk about it, but we'll talk about it next time because we're over.
Okay.
We're an hour and 10
That's
minutes.
fine.
But that's all. That's all we're going to do. That's all we're going to talk about. We'll be back in 2 weeks again, talking about more European football, maybe some transfer stuff if some things have gotten spicy. Maybe if Tottenham have a manager, we'll talk about that too. But in the interim, that man to my left is at KSBradG. Down below is at @WhiteHeart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. We collectively are Red Card Radio. We are at RedCard_Radio. That's all on Twitter. Please, like I said earlier in the show, like our video, like our podcast, rate it, subscribe, share it with a friend, do all those things, and definitely catch up with us on the social medias and all that stuff. But that's all we got for tonight. We will be back probably again in 2 weeks. With another episode. So we really appreciate everybody. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.